So how did the song with Akinelli come about? The famous "Put It in Your Mouth."
Right. Put it in your mouth. Right. So, again, grew up in Left Rack City. Akinelli, we grew up in the same neighborhood. And I guess he was kind of seeing me doing my thing. Fushnikins, Shaheem, and other stuff like Paul Simon and the video that came out with Big Daddy Kane and all of them. So all this stuff was kind of going on. But we lived in the same neighborhood. And Akinelli, he was doing his thing. He's on that record. What was it? Live at the barbecue, chilling at the barbecue, something like that,
Right.
with Biggie and a bunch of other artists, right? So he was on that, and that was kind of taken off. So he was working on his project, and he just called me. We were friends, we know each other from the neighborhood, from Left Rack City, and he called me like, "Hey, I got a song I think would be good for us." And he came to the house and he played that beat, and he had the idea for that hook. Put it in your mouth. He didn't sing it like that, but he was trying to sing it like that to tell me, what he heard in his mind. And then he told me I had to write my verse about how I wanted my kitty cat ate. And I was like, okay. And so he played his verse, or said his verse over the beat for me. And I was like, ooh, that's what you gonna say? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh. He was like, well, you gotta represent for the ladies. And I was like, bet. Okay. I got this. And I wrote that joint real fast, like, yeah, let me bark on these
So this
dudes.
was all before Shaka Khan, right?
No. Mm-mm.
This was after. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because Put It in Your Mouth came out in 96.
Right. So him telling you that I want you on this song that is like very sexual at the time, right? Like very explicit. It was almost like the first of its kind to that level,
It really was, especially with a singer,
Right.
because rappers were kind of being sexual already, whatever. Little Kim was out, so we knew what was what, but no singers were singing nothing raunchy like that, you know.
What is your reaction when he's telling you that I want you on this specific song? Like, were you like just like, oh, that's cool, or were you like, I'm not sure?
I mean, I knew it was risque, but I'm Aries again, fire. So,
Right.
I was with it, especially if, I got to represent for the ladies and you going to say that? Oh, yeah, no, let me get this. Yeah, I could do this. And I mean, I wasn't a stripper or anything. I wasn't into like whatever, but, hip hop back then was all about, outside the box, all about doing something different, all about, pushing the envelope, all about, not resembling at all anything else that was out. If you recall Kwame with the polka
Facts.
dots, with the Gumby haircuts, like everything was like to stand out. These days it's a little different. People seem to be like, oh, this person did it. Well, let me do one like that.
Following a
Hip hop was
blueprint
not like that back
more.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. People were not following. There was no blueprint. We were doing, authentic, organic, whatever we felt like doing. And if it stuck on the wall, oh, okay. Because we didn't, we having fun. We thinking we doing some old raunchy shit, whatever. And, the fact that it really took off, we didn't have a clean version.
Yeah.
They tried to get us to do a clean version once New York really picked up on it and it started being on the radio. Like they were, like jigging out the stuff themselves, right? So the label sent us back into the studio to see if we could do a clean version. And Ak and I were like, so what is that exactly? Because in the hook, I'm not cursing. Put it in your mouth is not, what am I cleaning?
Right.
Put it in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? What? So it was difficult.
Yeah. So when you're writing it though, like, are you thinking like, what is the craziest thing I can possibly say on this record? Or you're like, this is like my true desires or experience? Like, what is like the approach?
No, I had to. Well, so again, Ox verse. You want to go down? Why not? I'll be like Herbie and hand you a cock and tell you that my name is Ock. Be like the breeze, begin to blow, but don't give me no Ralph Lauren grin if you ain't down to go low. Like he was talking shit.
Right.
So it made me want to like talk shit back for the ladies. It wasn't so much of my experience, but it was of me verbally. you didn't have to be a drug dealer then to talk about drugs
Right.
and drug sales, if that makes sense. We know about stuff. We're from New York. We rap or sing and write about what is going on. Not necessarily only in my life, but in the world, in New York, in Queens, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm saying, well, oh, talk about how I want my cat licked. Okay, well, you can lick it, you can flip it, you can taste it. Every drip dry. Yeah, I was trying to say like the illest thing I could say about how somebody needs to eat this cooch.
So you lay down the track, right? I believe you did it like in one try.
I did. And then, in the beginning, there's like this whole piano. My baby left me. That's me playing the piano as well, live in the studio. Yep, same day.
Are you freestyling that, or you actually wrote it down?
Freestyled it. Freestyled it.
Wow.
Yeah, freestyled it. Freestyled that part. Because he didn't even know he wanted me to do. He didn't know. We didn't know about the slow part until we got in the studio that day. And he had this idea. He was like, "Can you do something on the piano?" Back then, there was a big record. Well, there were big like dance because the disco faded out in the 70s and in the 80s, right? But then there was still like dance music and stuff. And so there were these songs that would start off slow and it would sound like a beautiful ballad, and then all of a sudden the beat would drop and then you'd be dancing, right? So he had the idea like, yo, let's start it off so they think it's going to be like this really nice ballad, and then we're going to shock them and throw in, the beat. And I was just like, okay, that could work. So that's what we did, and that's the type of song we did. And so I did it, my baby left me. And we had people standing around the piano. So it was all organic live.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you laid down your verse, you came out and everybody was like shocked or like really quiet.
Yeah, really quiet. And it was all guys in the studio with Ak, in the control room. And I came out and, Ak is just like, yeah, it's cool. I was like, you need me to do it again? He's like, nah, it's good. I was like, you sure? He's like, yeah. The engineer, I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah. The engineer, him, they kind of got their heads together. They're, tweaking stuff, fixing stuff. So it's maybe about 4 or 5 guys in the studio. These are all Ox people, but I know them. Some are from Left Rack or whatever. And I'm like, hey guys, y'all good? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, ain't nobody talking. So I'm like, Ock, like, what's going on with your guys? Like, did something happen? He was like, I don't know what happened. He was like, what you mean? I was like, I don't know. They all quiet, looking crazy. He was like, what? Oh, them niggas' dicks is hard. I was like, what? I was like, what? Because of the verse? He was like, yeah. I said, wait a minute. Is that what's up? Y'all dicks is hard? And they were all like, what? Yeah. I was like, get out of here. I was like, not from the verse. I said, okay, I did my job. Job done.
And these are grown men at this time because you're a teenager. You're a teenager saying all this stuff.
Right. Late teens, about to be grown, but yeah. Yeah.